Hey guys, welcome back. Earlier we were talking about kind of getting our ideas in order and how to start our intro paragraphs. Today we're going to go a little bit further and talk about how to construct a paragraph, how to make it flow well, and I will upload these PowerPoints today, but they're going to be super useful. So go back and look at them, and let's get started. So we all know what a paragraph is. If you don't, then we have some problems. Please come see me. But I'm pretty sure we all know what a paragraph is. Basically, it's a bunch of sentences put together that form a unit that talk about the same thing. It's really important. As we see here, there's 4 steps or 4 keys in a paragraph, and the first is that the sentences are unified. If they're not talking about the same thing, then it's not going to matter what we write. People are just going to be confused. It needs to be clearly related to the thesis. So always make sure, sometimes it's easy to get distracted while you're writing your paper, that you get a really good idea, but it doesn't talk about necessarily what's in your thesis. Always check your thesis and make sure that what you're writing refers back to it. Another point is that it needs to be coherent. It should flow. Make sure that you're not talking about one thing, switching to a new topic, and then going back. That can confuse the reader, and it can confuse you while you're writing it. And the last point is that it should be well developed, that you should make sure you kind of finish your thought, that you don't leave people really hanging without clarification. And as I was reading these points again, it kind of reminded me of, math back in elementary school. And you start with maybe the idea of, 2 + 2 = 4, and then you get to the test, and this is what it would be like if your paper was not clear or unified or coherent, and you get used to what you've been learning, and then all of a sudden you get this. If you have 4 pencils and I have 7 apples, how many pancakes will fit on the roof? Purple, because aliens don't wear hats. Okay. Make sure that you're staying on one topic, that you're not going everywhere, and that it is coherent. So this slide right here is going to be your key to success in this class. I promise you, if you follow this with every paragraph, you will write a good paper. This is something that Brother Hill showed to us in my class, and it is something that I've used in every paper since. So there's 6 steps to paragraph construction. The first is to start with the basics, and then move to more specific, and then go back to basic, okay? This doesn't mean you're changing ideas. It means that you're just clarifying. So I'm actually going to pull up my paper in a little bit after we go over these steps, and I'll show you an example. So the first step is to decide on a controlling idea and create a topic sentence. And next, explain the controlling idea. Third, give an example or multiple examples. Fourth, explain the example. This is really important. You can use more than just 1 sentence or 2 sentences on this if you need. But there's a little note in here to remember that none of your paragraphs should be longer than 8 sentences. Very few. And definitely don't have any paragraphs that are 5 sentences or less. 5 is a good goal, but 4 sentences, you don't have enough room to explain what you want to. And then you're going to complete the paragraph's idea. The 6th step is what will be the transition for the next paragraph. So I'm going to minimize this a little bit and pull up my paper. We'll keep this right here, and I'll do a double screen. How's that? So this is my paper, and we can go over the steps as we read my paper. So the first step, and I'm going to pull up, sorry, I should have had this done already. I'm going to pull up my paper this paragraph right here. We're going to go over, this is my first level heading right here, anxiety disorders, a comprehensive overview. So the first is to decide a topic sentence. This is kind of going to be something you still want to catch their eye a little bit. So my first sentence right here is my controlling idea. So it goes down to here. So there can be little doubt that the prevalence of anxiety disorders has increased dramatically in recent years. I guess that's the first sentence. I went too far. So that's the controlling idea. Anxiety disorders have dramatically increased in recent years. So to explain it, I'm going to say the National Institute of Mental Health reports that 31.9% of adolescents ages 13 to 18 suffer from some type of anxiety disorder. Okay, so I'm explaining why anxiety is prevalent. Next is an example. So evidently, anxiety may result from the many changes that teenagers experience, such as increased time away from home, puberty, and increased social demands. That's an example right there. And next, I will explain the example. Anxiety may be made manifest through panic attacks, increased muscle tension, avoidance behavior, and fear. And then I'll just finish off with completing the paragraph's idea. Specifically, avoidance behaviors are most commonly manifested in social anxiety disorder. So that is going to lead into my next section, which is social anxiety disorders. And you'll notice that my first heading usually only has one paragraph. And then my second and third level headings will have probably at least 2 paragraphs. So that is an example of how you use these 6 steps. But really, they are going to be your best friends. I would keep this up on one screen on your page while you're writing, and every time you have an idea, you say, okay, that's going to be my first sentence. Now I'm going to explain it. Then I'm going to give an example. Then I'm going to explain it. Just keep it open, and it'll help your paper flow a lot better than if you don't have this up. So we'll go back into this. Next is kind of an idea of claim, evidence, and comment. It goes along with the structure we just showed you, the 6 steps. And it looks like this. So you'll have the controlling idea, and then you'll have the evidence. So that's the examples. Basically, claim, evidence, comment is kind of a condensed 6-step. It's 6 steps down to 3. But you're still going to always want to give the controlling idea, explain it, give an example, explain it, and then complete the paragraph. And here's an example you can read through. I'm not going to read through it right now because I just showed you mine. But this is great to go back to as well. And like I said, I'll put these PowerPoints up. There's 2 examples right here. This video is going to be a lot shorter. But these are just this is a great activity right now. I'm not going to record myself doing it. But you can pause the video right now if you want and go through this rushed writing exercise. It can help you write your first paragraph, and in fact, you can write your first paragraph using this exercise and then go back and edit it later if you want to. So go ahead and hit pause and work on this for a minute. So once you've unpaused the video, hopefully you stopped to take some time to do that little exercise. I just wanted to go over a few key points that will help you in your writing. First, never start a sentence with a number. I think most of us know that. If not, there's always time to change. So make sure you always start with actually the word of the number instead of the digits. Never start a sentence with a direct quote. I would rarely use a direct quote in general, but be sure to always be citing ideas that you use. Most of the papers you'll read, you won't want to quote them specific, or you won't want to use a direct quote, but you will want to use their ideas. So be sure to always be citing who gave you that idea. And then when you're writing, don't use any reflective questions. It makes more sense in maybe like an MLA paper. But these are, APA is a scientific type of writing, and it may seem boring, but it's straight to the point, and that is what we're looking for. So if you have questions, feel free to reach out to us. TAs or Brother Hill will be happy to help you. Like I said, please download these PowerPoints that I'll upload and follow along with the 6 steps to writing a paragraph, and you will do great. So keep up the hard work, and you're awesome.